So now on to the 21st century thus far. Looks like I gotta condense this video because the time on my phone camera is running out, so I'm gonna have to transfer this over to my computer and hard drive. So to get it going, this was the beginning of the rise of the superhero genre. Blade came out in 1998, Batman had a few movies, but Batman and Robin damn near killed the genre, and I already said why I don't like that movie. This is dog shit, I got nothing else to say there, but yeah. X-Men came out this year, and many argue it started the current superhero boom we're feeling today, along with Spider-Man in 2002. So I guess to go through movies from 2000, the main ones that stand out to me, Traffic was real good, along with Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Loved how Shang-Chi took inspiration from it. The movie that won Best Picture, Gladiator, quintessential Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe given one of the best performances of his career right next to A Beautiful Mind. And Tom Hanks was real good in Castaway also. But yeah, 2000 was definitely a real strong start to the decade. Oh, and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was great. And one last 90s movie I can't believe I forgot to mention, The Big Lebowski. What is there left to say other than the dude and dudism? And it's just a great movie, man. But yeah, cast, Jeff Bridges, just everything's wonderful. Like, just watch the movie. I can't give it justice by talking about it. It's just wonderful. But yeah, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Brought some new changes to cinematography and coloring that I really liked. That was real nice in film. And yeah, this was just a real great year for cinema. But yeah, Gladiator was definitely one of the standouts. How the Grinch Stole Christmas came out that year. But yeah, definitely a nice revival of the Hollywood epic also, because there were a lot of Hollywood epics that came out this decade too, like Troy, Kingdom of Heaven, and many others. And guess that's all I got for 2000. On to the next year, 2001. The Disney Renaissance also ended after this year, so there's really not much of note in the 2000s for Disney. Most of the notable movies are going to be from Pixar, so I'm going to spend more time on them. They're the main ones I want to highlight. So yeah, Beautiful Mind was the Best Picture winner. Classic film. Russell Crowe killed it. Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring came out also. And Moulin Rouge, I feel a pretty underrated musical film. But yeah, Lord of the Rings is just quintessential epic fantasy. Like what Peter Jackson accomplished, just wonderful in this whole trilogy. And Denzel Washington was pretty good in Training Day, even though I feel like Russell Crowe should have won that year. But it is what it is. And Ian McKellen was also great as Gandalf. But yeah, Beautiful Mind was a real solid film, and this was also the year animated movies got the Best Animated Feature Film category. Most of it years it's won by Disney movies, but Shrek was the first winner. Beat out Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius and Monsters, Inc. All great films. But yeah, Monsters, Inc. did win for Best Original Song, though, If I Didn't Have You. And it is a real sweet song, not gonna lie. Black Hawk Down also came out this year. That was another great film, so highly recommend that one. That one's a real great war film. Definitely one of the best modern war films, that's for sure. And wow, Memento kind of had a double release. That's another really great film. And Christopher Nolan, he's a director to look out for. He directed a movie that isn't one of his more popular ones called Following in the late 90s. I don't got much to say other than it brought him on the map, but we're going to discuss him more later in the decade. So on to the next year. The movie that won was Chicago. Not going to lie, I felt like it was very weak. Gangs of New York felt like the better movie, along with Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and The Pianist. But yeah, Roman Polanski won, even though he is very controversial and is a scumbag, and much like Woody Allen. Love the movies, but them as people, they're pieces of shit. There's no sugarcoating it. They're pieces of shit. But yeah, Adrian Brody was great in The Pianist also, and he became the youngest actor to win Best Picture, and yeah, he definitely killed it. And let's just say his speech was very powerful. Like, the speech he gave, wow, you really felt the energy. And one thing that's going to be big going into cinema that I'm going to just highlight right now and go into more as the movies come up is 9/11. Many movies had to make edits after that tragedy. Remove references to terrorism, not make terrorism a joke, even edit out the Twin Towers in many New York scenes in many movies. Spider-Man being a prominent one, as you can see it in his eyes in one scene, and there's a scene where New York comes together, and I guess it was a big popular film. I didn't know it at the time, but it was such a huge success because I guess it was the entertaining escape movie America needed, and Spider-Man gave it to us back in 2002. But yeah, this is something that's going to trickle down into other films, and even some prominent franchises kind of had to adapt to the changes due to 9/11. But yeah, I guess for best animated movies of this year, Spirited Away won. I haven't seen that one, but it's a Hayao Miyazaki film, and I've been meaning to watch a lot of his movies, so I'll see what I think. Lilo and Stitch, though, is a fucking classic. I love that movie. It came out this year. That one's great. Along with Treasure Planet and Ice Age and Spirit, Stallion and the Cimarron. Gosh, among non-Disney animated movies, some of my favorites definitely got to be that one. And Batman Mask of the Phantasm. And as I'll discuss here in a few minutes more, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But yeah, the song that won for Best Original Song was great too, Lose Yourself by Eminem. Another really great movie too that won an Oscar this year was Road to Perdition, which is technically a comic book movie because it was based off of a graphic novel. And the closest we've come to Tom Hanks not playing a hero character. He plays more of an anti-hero. He's not really a villain, just more of an anti-hero. So, yeah. I think I'm going to discuss up to 2005, and then I'm going to speed around after that, because there's going to be a lot to get through after that. So, yeah. Moving on to the next year, The Lord of the Rings, the whole trilogy got honored. Return of the King won. Great film, well-deserved. Peter Jackson, what he did was incredible. Mystic River was also great. Lost in Translation was a film that doesn't get discussed a lot among this class that is real great. Scarlett Johansson should have been nominated for Best Actress, though. This was one of her best performances, and I can't believe it wasn't until recently that she finally got Oscar nominations. But hopefully the Wes Anderson movie she's making will get her to win one, because Wes Anderson has directed some Oscar-winning performances, and he's made many great films, so none that really speak to me, but I've loved what I've seen of him. But yeah. Mystic River was great, along with Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. Sean Penn also killed it in Mystic River with his performance. Charlize Theron also won for Monster, which was incredible. But Lost in Translation did get an Oscar for Francis Ford Coppola's daughter, Sophia, so that was real nice. She gets to be another Oscar winner in her legendary family. I mean, shoot, her cousin is Nicolas Cage. His actual last name is Coppola also. He just made his name Cage so he could stand on his own. But yeah, the best animated film this year was great. Finding Nemo. Love that movie. I saw it, I don't know how many times in the theater that year. That and Toy Story 2 were the two Pixar movies I think my family got sick of taking me to see because I just kept wanting to go. Like, that was MCU before MCU for me. Like, I just couldn't get enough of it. And that's me with MCU movies now, because I just saw Shang-Chi twice. And I saw Avengers Endgame 3 times. And some other Marvel movies I also saw twice, or on the rare occasion 3 times. But yeah. Yeah, this year was definitely real solid. Big Fish was another underrated movie that came out this year, along with Cold Mountain. And Pirates of the Caribbean was also real great. Johnny Depp got a long-awaited Oscar nomination for his performance in that movie. And another underrated Scarlett Johansson movie came out this year too, Girl with a Pearl Earring. Highly recommend that one. That was a real good performance from her and Colin Firth. So going on to the next year, 2004. One film I gotta say right now before I forget, Collateral. Love this movie. Anytime I feel like I'm in a rut and I need my creativity juices to flow, I just watch Collateral. This movie is incredible. Tom Cruise, for one of his first villain roles as Vincent, God, you buy it. He is so despicable, but so good. And Jamie Foxx is also real great. And Mark Ruffalo is also really nice too as the cop who's trying to bring Vincent down. But yeah, the Best Picture winner of the year, $1 Million Baby, was great, along with The Aviator from Martin Scorsese, and another great Scorsese-DiCaprio collaboration. Ray was real good too. I recommend that. Hotel Rwanda was another solid film too from this year. And Jamie Foxx won for playing Ray Charles, and he was great. But yeah, The Incredibles was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay, that being the animated movie that won, beating out Shark Tale and Shrek 2. But yeah, The Incredibles is just wonderful. Love that movie. It's by far one of Pixar's best films, and Brad Pitt, that guy knows, not Brad Pitt, Brad Bird knows animation. Along with Iron Giant, that's another great film from him too. And Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, definitely one of the best of the series. I guess to highlight Mission Impossible up to this point, first film, incredible, definitely more suspense driven, but still a solid film from Brian De Palma. MI2, good, but definitely not great. It got edited. And I'll get to the next films as I get to them. We're getting pretty close. But yeah, I guess that's it of all the notable 2004 movies. Oh, a few others also. Spider-Man 2, that one was real great. Definitely still holds up. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is also great. And I, Robot. So on to the very next year of 2005. Wow, the movie that won, Crash, one of the most undeserving Best Picture winners ever. I can see why the director said he felt like it shouldn't have won. Brokeback Mountain, that story is just so emotional, and Jake Gyllenhaal, this was when Jake Gyllenhaal really showed he is an actor to look out for, and he's only continued to be that way. And Heath Ledger, this was showing Heath Ledger beginning to become a solid actor who unfortunately was gone way too soon. And we'll get to the next big tamale here in a few minutes. Don't worry, I'm going to talk about it. You already know what it is, but yeah, that was rough. Walk the Line was really great also. Joaquin Phoenix was great this year, and he was a really great Johnny Cash. I've listened to a lot of his music, and he definitely was wonderful, along with Reese Witherspoon for as June Carter Cash. I need to watch this movie that won that year, though, called The Constant Gardener. But yeah, that one had Rachel Weisz win, Daniel Craig's wife, who would be the next James Bond later on in this decade. There were only 3 Bond movies released this decade. The best one is Casino Royale. Let's just say that. What that movie did for the Bond franchise was just wonderful. The song, Daniel Craig's performance, and how it really made James Bond a more relatable character. And began a real good character arc for him, too. But yeah, he's great, and also a great stand-up guy off-screen, too. Rachel Weisz is definitely lucky to call him her baby daddy and husband. Let's just say that. But yeah, another movie, too, that got nominated for Best Original Screenplay, which I watched in my crime and film class, I got to admit was real good, is Match Point, a Woody Allen movie that Scarlett Johansson starred in that was real great, despite its director being a scumbag. And the movie that won Best Animated Film, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, that one was pretty good. But Tim Burton's Corpse Bride was also another solid film. Hard to believe not a single CGI animated movie was in this class also. That was definitely a huge surprise. But yeah, this year definitely had a lot of great winners. Oh, Batman Begins came out this year. The movie that started the rebooting something into a darker, more gritty story. And its sequel, we'll get into that real soon. Guess after that, all I gotta say is Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith came out this year also, and it was great. Along with Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, a real solid adaptation. And The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that one was another solid classic movie from this decade also. So, I'm going to go ahead and just show a few images from some of these movies. And then going to go ahead and finish this video off with movies from 2006 up to 2020. So, hope you've enjoyed. So yeah, from 2006 onward, here we go. Yeah, this year had the sequel to shoot, I lost my train of thought. One movie from 2 years ago I got a highlight that's real great that showed Jim Carrey had great dramatic chops is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Highly recommend that movie. But yeah, this year Martin Scorsese won his long-awaited Oscar that was presented to him by Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola and George Lucas, the leaders of the new Hollywood movement. So that was a nice touch. But yeah, The Departed won. But yeah, great film, really great ensemble cast. Mark Wahlberg probably giving one of his best career performances along with Matt Damon. And Leonardo DiCaprio also. Like, everything came together with this movie. But yeah, the other movie too that was nominated, Letters from Iwo Jima, was real great too. I'd recommend that one. That's an underrated historical war film or drama, even though it doesn't focus on the battle all that much. Little Miss Sunshine's definitely an underrated film. And Leonardo DiCaprio gave another really great performance in Blood Diamond, the movie on the Sergio Leone Civil War about all the diamonds that are fought over in Africa. So yeah, that's a really solid film. But yeah, Pan's Labyrinth was another really great film from that year. Happy Feet won Best Picture, which was real great. Love that movie. And Cars and Monster House were also pretty solid that came out that same year. But yeah, guess the only other notable films I gotta mention. One very underrated one that I don't get why it gets treated like the black sheep of Brian De Palma's career is The Black Dahlia. I just watched that movie and I loved it. It was great. Aaron Eckhart was wonderful in his role as the lead detective, along with Josh Hartnett and Scarlett Johansson. Like, wow, this role showed it showed Lost in Translation wasn't a fluke. It showed she has chops. Like, she can act. She's more than a pretty face and nice body. She's a pretty face and nice body that can act. That also just so happens to be a great person. But yeah, let's see. The Prestige came out this year also. That was another solid film. Another movie too with Scarlett Johansson in it. It's great. One thing I like, in this same year she starred in another Woody Allen movie with Hugh Jackman called Scoop, which was nice. And she was also in The Prestige, also starring with Hugh Jackman. And the Batman at the time, Christian Bale. So Wolverine, Batman, and Black Widow were all in a movie all at once. It's one thing I geek out on rewatching the film now, knowing that. 3 icons of the superhero genre. Though I feel, you know what, they all did get nice send-offs in their own movies, so yeah, I guess they're the same. Christian Bale may not be my favorite Batman, that's Michael Keaton, but he's third next to Kevin Conroy. My least favorite being Clooney, obviously. Second one, Ben Affleck. We're not talking about Ben Affleck in this video. Just going to say that right now. He was crap. Not just crap. Absolute, just Shit. And he's lucky he wasn't Clooney. That's all I can say about him. He's lucky he wasn't Clooney. But, yeah. Guess that's it for the movies of 2006. Let's move on to 2007. Another really great year for film. The Best Picture winner was just great. No Country for Old Men. Another Harry Potter movie came out this year. Atonement was a really solid film from this year. Same thing with Juno. And There Will Be Blood. But yeah, No Country for Old Men really tapped into the 9/11 fears of terrorists and how our enemies can be evil just for the sake of being evil. And you definitely see that with Javier Bardem's Anton Chigurh. The book is real good too. It's also a real good adaptation of the book. And Daniel Day-Lewis kills it in the lead actor category with There Will Be Blood. Sweeney Todd was real great too, and a surprisingly amazing musical performance from freaking Johnny Depp. And yeah, after that, Ratatouille was a really nice film from this year too. The one that won Best Picture. Love that movie. But yeah, this year was definitely stacked. And so many great films. I'm having a hard time remembering all of them, but they're all great. Bourne Ultimatum was real great that came out this year. And the assassination of Jesse James by the Coward. God, I can never remember the name entirely. Robert Ford, that's what it was. But yeah, another really great solid year for cinema, that's for sure. But yeah, the very next year, wow. The movie I was hinting at, The Dark Knight. Wow, what a film. I'll admit, I feel sometimes it's talked about a little too much to the point where I get annoyed, and there are some fans of this movie who I hate bringing up the movie about it around them because they get so annoying. I'm not going to say names about them, but I knew a guy in high school who tried to tell me that I should have spent my money and saw the movie more times in theater, when it's like, who the fuck are you to tell me how to spend my own money on movies I want to see? I mean, that summer Iron Man came out, and shit, that and many other movies were holding my interest way more. Because let's just say with Marvel and other movies, for me, they take precedence, and that's just the way it is. But yeah, I haven't seen the movie that beat out The Dark Knight, because The Dark Knight wasn't even nominated for Best Picture, which allowed up to 10 movies to be up for the award. A real great decision. Definitely needed. But yeah, I still need to watch it. Curious Case of Benjamin Button was real good. Another solid David Fincher movie. I need to watch Milk. It's been on my watch list. But yeah, Heath Ledger definitely earned it as the Joker for his posthumous performance as the Joker in that movie. And RDJ was also great in Tropic Thunder. I've already discussed how he made his comeback as Iron Man in my other video, so watch that one if you want to hear my thoughts on that. But yeah, WALL-E won Best Picture, Best Animated Film, which was a deserving award. And yeah, The Dark Knight won in some other categories. And yeah, this year it was stacked. 2008 was a stacked year. It was a real great year for cinema, that's for sure. And the next year would only continue that with movies like, I'm not counting Avatar. That movie is one of the most overrated films of all time. But the very next year, many other great ones came out, from The Blind Side, District 9, Inglourious Bastards, and Up, another animated movie up for Best Picture. Pun intended. But yeah, Tarantino, I forgot. I got so sidetracked on all these other movies. He made some great ones too after Pulp Fiction, like Jackie Brown. That one was real good. And the 2 Kill Bill movies. And Grindhouse is real good too. I don't get why it's treated like the black sheep of his filmography. Very much like Brian De Palma, I feel like that's the one thing they have in common. They have a film that I don't get why it's treated like it's the black sheep of the movies they've made. For Brian De Palma, it's the Black Dahlia. For Tarantino, it's Death Proof. But yeah, Inglourious Bastards was great. A nice Tarantinoized version of The Dirty Dozen and some classic World War II films. And just love how Brad Pitt says Nazis. He's all like, the Nazis. You're going to get me 150 Nazi scalps. And Christoph Waltz kills it as as Colonel Hans Landa. He's a very intimidating villain. Let's just say you can tell the real crazy psychos, they came out later in this decade, from Anton Chigurh to the Joker to Hans Landa. But yeah. The Hurt Locker was the movie that won Best Picture. I don't really get the controversy with the film. I think it's great. By far one of the best modern war films that's come out, as it was on about the Iraq War. I definitely think it deserved all the awards it won, and it was definitely the best film of that year. But yeah, guess that's all my thoughts on 2009. So let's go ahead and move on into the 2010s before we get to 2020. So yeah, this year was a real great start for the decade. The King's Speech won Best Picture, but I gotta say that movie shouldn't have won. It wasn't really nothing special. But wow, its competition this year was stacked. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 came out this year also, and Iron Man 2, many other great films. But yeah, listing off a few of the nominees. 127 Hours, great. Black Swan, great. The Fire, amazing. Inception, holy fuck, one of the best movies Christopher Nolan has made, and that's saying something. He's made a lot. Social Network, great. Toy Story 3, great. True Grit, a surprisingly good remake. Winter's Bone, another surprise. So yeah, this year got stacked, and from David Fincher to so many other great directors just doing their thing, and Christian Bale also winning for his absolutely wonderful performance as Dickie Eklund. He was simply incredible. And Toy Story finally winning a long-awaited award for one of their songs for We Belong Together, which was a really nice, sweet song, not gonna lie. But yeah, love that, and guess onward to the next year, 2011. The Artist was a surprisingly good film. I didn't know what to think when it won, but it was pretty good. The Descendants I need to watch. Haven't watched in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. The Help was amazing. One of Emma Stone's best performances. That had a great cast and definitely showed Emma Stone would be going places. Hugo was pretty good too. And Midnight in Paris, also really great. Moneyball, probably one of the best baseball films I've seen. It surprisingly makes the front office side of baseball entertaining. That's just something I didn't think would ever happen. And War Horse, another classic Spielberg movie. Like, wow, who knew a movie about a horse could be so compelling? And The Tree of Life is also great. Let's just say very experimental. Doesn't follow the 3-act structure, but if you know what you're getting into, it is a real great film that Terrence Malick made. Highly recommend. But yeah, I think Disney got upset this year for Best Animated Film. Yeah, it was Rango that won. Wow, they didn't even have any nominations. But yeah. But yeah, the other last film I want to highlight is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. That movie was just, oh, talk about disturbing. Holy shit. But, oh yeah, Daniel Craig brought his A game along with Rooney Mara. And let's just say she really showed her chops with this movie. Rooney Mara was just absolutely wonderful. So moving on to what may just be the best year of the decade for cinema. Maybe 2019 could rival it. Who knows? But 2012, wow, what a year. Argo, talk about a great historical drama. What Ben Affleck accomplished with this movie was just great. How it honored the heroes of this particular event during the Iranian hostage crisis. Even though it fictionalized some events, it's still a solid film nonetheless. But yeah, the only one of these Best Picture nominees I feel was undeserving was The Life of Pi. But yeah, Zero Dark 30, incredible. Silver Linings Playbook, also incredible. Lincoln, real great too. Love that movie. Daniel Day-Lewis killed it and definitely deserved that Oscar. And Django Unchained, quintessential Quentin Tarantino. Like, it is great. Skyfall also came out this year, and the original Avengers movie, which I've already mentioned. But yeah, all great films. What a year for cinema. This was truly everything just came together. And as Quentin Tarantino also said, it was the writer's year. There were a lot of great scripts. So moving on to the next year, 12 Years a Slave 1, solid film. American Hustle, another pretty solid film. Same thing with Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her. Proof Scarlett Johansson could make a real great performance with just her voice. Not gonna lie. And The Wolf of Wall Street. God, this is the movie that Leo DiCaprio should have won his first Oscar for. He was incredible in this movie. And Margot Robbie should have been nominated for Best Actress for this movie. She was incredible also. I can't believe it wasn't until I, Tonya that she finally got her long overdue nomination. Who knows, though, with the Wes Anderson movie, she could win one now, like Scarlett Johansson. And yeah, they're my top two loves. Let's just say I really can't wait for that movie. But yeah, all really solid films. And Frozen won Best Animated Film of the Year that year. That was pretty well deserving. And Let It Go won for Best Original Song, which was real great. Gravity was the big winner in all the technical categories. So yeah, I thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was really anything special. It was more especially visually wise, but not really plot wise. But yeah, moving on to the next year, Birdman I felt was a very undeserving Best Picture nominee. It gave a great performance. It had great performances from Michael Keaton to Emma Stone, Zach Galifianakis, Ed Norton, but I didn't think it was really anything special. American Sniper, a real great film. I don't get why it's treated like it's propaganda or something like that. Boyhood, great. Grand Budapest Hotel, fucking incredible. Great cast. Why I'm really hyped for the upcoming Wes Anderson movie with Scarlett Johansson, Margot Robbie, and Tom Hanks. Selma, real great too, along with The Imitation Game. Theory of Everything was surprisingly good too, and Whiplash brought to attention Damien Chazelle for me. And as the movie in my background is La La Land, really grown to love that guy's movies. He definitely brought his A game. But yeah, Captain America: The Winter Soldier also came out this year. Another really solid film. Into the Woods, another great one too. And Foxcatcher. Oh, Nightcrawler was a really great film from this year too. And Enemy. Wow, Denis Villeneuve, let's just say right now, made many great films this decade, from Prisoners to Enemy to Blade Runner 2049. And even Arrival, the movie that actually did get a Best Picture nomination. Absolutely love that movie. And Big Hero 6 won Best Animated Film, so yeah, I'd say it deserved it. But yeah, Interstellar was Christopher Nolan's movie of this year, and that was a surprisingly good film, even though I do kind of have some issues with the ending. But for the most part, it's a pretty good movie. And the movie that, and the year I graduated high school, 2015. This is another great year. Wow. So many great films, from Star Wars The Force Awakens, The Return of Star Wars, to the Best Picture winner of Spotlight. Mad Max Fury Road came out this year. Let's just say that movie brought action cinema to a whole nother level. And John Wick came out the year before. I made a video on that, so watch that for that. I'm not going to say anymore. Bridge of Spies came out too. That was another really great Spielberg spy thriller. And The Big Short. Wow, talk about a movie that made a complex subject matter like the housing market crash make it easier to understand. Pretty freaking awesome, not gonna lie. But yeah, even making some just unlikable characters, the ones who fucked the stock market back in the day, wow, I don't know how Ryan Gosling and Christian Bale, Steve Carell, and Brad Pitt did it, but they did it somehow. And even wow, I just found out Karen Gillan had a cameo role in this movie, Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. But yeah, even some celebrities came in and made some, they broke down really complex financial terms. And I never thought Margot Robbie explaining finances could be so entertaining. But yeah, it didn't hurt that she was in her bathtub. And not gonna lie, when she said, "Now fuck off," I'm not gonna lie, I found that pretty attractive. Guess that's why I really love women with accents. They could say mean shit to you and you just take it as a compliment. And Selena Gomez also applying gambling to explaining complex financial terms. I did not think that could be as entertaining as it was, but it was. And Room was real great. The movie that Brie Larson won her Oscar for. That was a great film too. And The Revenant, fucking incredible. And Leo DiCaprio won his much overdue Oscar. I was so excited when he won. He should have won decades ago for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. But at long last, he finally won. But yeah. And Mark Rylance was great too, winning in Bridge of Spies. And Tom Hardy got a nomination too. But yeah, this year was truly a great year on all fronts, animation-wise too, with Inside Out. And the next James Bond movie, Spectre, Writings on the Wall, the song got nominated. Quentin Tarantino released The Hateful Eight, that was really good. So yeah, overall a pretty solid year. And the very next year was definitely a mixed bag, as a lot of things were that year, but we're not going to get into that. But cinema-wise, a lot of great movies came out, from Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, Manchester by the Sea. All great films from all great directors. And La La Land, the one behind me, is the one I really wanted to see win Best Picture. And my God, when it was announced that Moonlight actually won, let's just say I blew a fucking fuse. Now, don't call me racist. I've seen Moonlight. I think it's a good movie, but it's not great. And La La Land was the better film and should have won. Just better cast, better writing, better song numbers, better paced. I almost fell asleep 3 times trying to watch Moonlight. It was just not a very good movie. Zootopia did win Best Animated Film, though, so that was a real nice victory there. But yeah. And for visual effects this year, this was a real strong year with movies like The Jungle Book, Deepwater Horizon, Doctor Strange, Rogue One, and many others. But yeah, overall good year despite the Academy Awards really fucking it up. And let's just say I feel like that's why they shouldn't have people older than my grandparents presenting Best Picture. Ugh. Having Warren Beatty present that award was a mistake. He's a good actor, director, and guy and whatnot, but you should have people either around my age or a little older present it so they can actually read the card and we don't have fucking mishaps like this happen again. That was fucking horse shit. Anyway, on to the next year, which was definitely a more balanced year and had a lot of great nominees. The movie The One, Shape of Water, really surprisingly touching and sweet movie. Call Me By Your Name was okay. I haven't seen Darkest... Oh wait, I have seen Darkest Hour. That's the Winston Churchill biopic. That one was a real great film. Dunkirk was another really great film from Christopher Nolan, though I don't get why some criticize the movie for what it is. It's really great, and Tom Hardy and the whole cast really kills it. Get Out was also great. Ladybird, wow, this movie is like the modern day equivalent to many classic John Hughes movies, but at the same time, it's also its own film. I don't know how Greta Gerwig did it, but holy fuck, she is going places. She is fucking amazing. The Post was also great. And 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri was okay. I, Tonya also came out this year, which was amazing, along with Logan. And Phantom Thread wasn't too bad. But yeah, 2017 had a lot of great films. This was a really good year for film, that's for sure. The next year definitely stumbled a bit, but Blade Runner 2049 was great. Same thing with Baby Driver. Just a really well-balanced year. And if I don't say anything else, Edgar Wright. He is a director who's made some of the best films of this century thus far, from the Cornetto trilogy, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, a movie that balances video games with comic books, and it's just wonderful. And Baby Driver, also really amazing. Edgar Wright is for sure a director who I hope wins a much overdue Oscar. Much like Quentin Tarantino. Tarantino needs to win one for Best Director. He has plenty of writing awards, but he needs one for Best Director. So the very next year, 2018, Green Book won, It was an okay film, but the movie I'm really glad got nominated for Best Picture was Black Panther. Holy shit, it is about damn time a superhero movie got nominated for Best Picture. Now, if only one could win, that's the question. Black Klansman was also really good. Bohemian Rhapsody was a really great biopic of Queen, and Rami Malek killed it as Freddie Mercury. Like, wow, that was just wonderful. And Roma was real good too. Same thing with Star is Born. Lady Gaga gave a real great performance, and the music was great. And her acceptance speech when she won for Best Original Song, wow, her tears, just everything about her. And I just love what she said, where she said, whether you're sitting on your couch or where you're at, it's not about how you succeed. It's about how you get up after you fall. Like, wow. What Lady Gaga said there was powerful. She knows her shit. Let's just say that. But yeah, Black Panther did win some other Oscars, some much deserved ones, and Best Original Score. And I'm just so glad that superhero movies are finally getting the love and recognition they deserve. So we're almost at the tail end of this. 2019, wow, what a year. Avengers Endgame, end of the MCU, end of Star Wars with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Just overall a real great year for cinema. And 2020 had a lot to compete with, even if the COVID-19 pandemic didn't begin or didn't happen. But yeah, this year was stacked with Best Picture. Parasite was great. Same thing with Ford v Ferrari and The Irishman. I'm just going to list them all off because they're all amazing. Jojo Rabbit was great. Joker was great. Need to watch Little Women, but I've heard it's pretty damn good. And I do like Greta Gerwig. She's a pretty good director. Marriage Story, amazing, emotional. Scarlett Johansson fucking killed it. Same thing with Adam Driver, Laura Dern, Ray Liotta, just about anyone in that movie. 1917, definitely one of the best modern war films. Sam Mendes took what made Skyfall great and threw it into a war film. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, to sum up what I love about this movie, just Quentin Tarantino capturing the feel and essence of classic Hollywood, and just the cast: Leo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Dakota Fanning, Bruce Dern, the list goes on and on. It was great. And rest in peace, Luke Perry. That was his final performance, and he gave a heck of a good final performance. Rest in peace, Luke Perry. And Joaquin Phoenix killed it in Joker. And wow, that movie was just incredible. He definitely deserved that Oscar. He was another DiCaprio who had a long overdue Oscar that he should have won years ago, but I'm so glad he did. And now it's on to Scarlett Johansson to do that. Because, gosh, she was great in Marriage Story for her role that she lost to Judy Garland. Bombshell was another really good movie that came out. That was about the Fox News scandal with Roger Ailes, that absolute scumbag. And Laura Dern for Marriage Story beat out Scarlett Johansson for her performance in Jojo Rabbit. And Florence Pugh, who was in Black Widow, she also was nominated. And let's just say she's definitely going places. And Brad Pitt won a much overdue acting Oscar, even beating out Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, who were very deserving too. But yeah, he killed it as Cliff Booth. I don't know what it is about what Tarantino did with that character, but it was just wonderful. It was just simply great. And it was nice to see Taika Waititi win also, as he won for Best Adapted Screenplay. But yeah, Joker was just great, along with 1917, Ford v Ferrari. What a year for cinema, whether it was superhero, drama films, war films, comedy, some emotional family films. What a year. This was a great way to close out the decade. Like, wow. I was definitely making a lot of trips to the cinema that year. And on to the most recent year, 2020. Though there wasn't a lot, and most were released through streaming, Nomadland won, which was a pretty good movie. I still need to watch a lot of these movies, but the ones I saw were good. Mank was good. Here Soon gonna watch Promising Young Woman. That one was good. Sound of Metal, love that movie, along with The Trial of the Chicago 7. And Soul was really great too. Movie that won Best Animated Film. Oh, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won a few decades ago also. That one was great. Nice to see a non-Disney film win, and Spider-Verse was definitely deserving. But yeah, this year was definitely a solid year, and even though the nominees were limited, it was still pretty great. Oh, and Tenet also won for Best Picture, Christopher Nolan's most recent film. Well, I hope I summed up some of my favorite movies that aren't MCU for you, so thanks for sticking around for this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace!